Welcome. Thank you for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be talking about how to utilize R to get some of those numeric summaries we've been discussing for one quantitative variable. So right now you can see that I have my R Studio Cloud open. You can do this, it doesn't have to be in a cloud. And I have already uploaded into the cloud this gbsu.csv file. This is data from GVSU students, and this is the data we'll be analyzing. So in order to read that in, I am going to assign it using this left-handed arrow to what I'm going to call GVSU. And I'm going to do read.csv because this is a CSV file. I'm going to tell R what location it's at. So that's this right here, gbsu.csv. That's what I want it to read in. And then I'm going to say header equals true because the start of that file is the variable name. So that's what that's dealing with. And I'm going to say it's comma separated. So just so I remember what this is, I'm going to say that this line reads in the data. And when you do that little hashtag and it turns green like this, that means it's a comment and not part of the code. So R is not going to try to run that. It's just for us to be able to reference later. So I've read in that file, and you can see over here that that has been read in. And you can see the data, and that first column, or excuse me, the first row is my variable names. That's what that header equals true did. Now, just because I'm going to have to call these later, I'm going to say I want to see the names. So this is the names, or I guess let's be more specific, variable names. That's telling me down here what the variable names are called. So that's helpful because when you do some of this programming, you need to make sure you are exactly the same as how it's listed. So textbooks is in all caps, all of them are in all caps. I can't call for the year, for example, and use capital Y, lowercase EAR, because it won't know what that is. So this is helpful to have that so I can reference later. So now there's a couple of things in base R, and when I say base R, that means that you don't have to call for a library. It's just in the automatic code for R. I can do a summary of GVSU, and when I do that, essentially what you see here is it tells me a little bit about the data. So for the quantitative variables like study or sleep, it's giving me the 5-number summary, but it includes the mean, and it's giving me how many missing values there are. So that's nice, it's quick, but it's kind of ugly and I don't want them all. So one way that I could get just the summary for, let's say, sleep is to do that $sign, and then when I do it, it's just giving me a summary for sleep. So you can do that for any of the variables. This is just a way to have you be more specific on what you want. So summary is one way, and I'm going to say this gives the 5-number summary and the mean. It's helpful to remember what that code does. Another one that you could do is just like the mean for the who's the what's this for the variable that you want. So GVSU, and let's do for sleep. Now I want you to notice that it returns NA, and that's because there are some missing values. We had 11 missing values, meaning 11 observations where they didn't give the amount of sleep. So I'm going to use the code NA equals and then true, so that it will still give me that result, and it will just ignore those missing values. So that's what that's going to do. It says Okay, we'll give you the mean and we'll just ignore the missings. So gives the mean and ignores missing values. You could do the same. These are pretty intuitive, and also you'll notice that when you start typing, R gives you suggestions. So when you do max, it will give you the options for that. So I can do the maximum and do GVSU $sleep, and then again NA remove equals true. Sometimes I actually don't like that. And that gives, oops, the maximum. So the maximum is 12, and we knew that because that was already up here. So doing them individually can be beneficial if you want it. That you could do, let's be faster and do min, and then here, minimum, and then run that, and you can see that's 2, which we knew because up here that was in the summary. I could do the same for the median. So it gives the median, and you can see that's 7. Again, we already knew that because we had that in that summary, but sometimes if you want those individual values, that can be beneficial. We could do the range. I'm going to be faster and just do the copy paste option. That's another one. So that it's giving you from 2 to 12, because remember that was the minimum and the maximum. You could do something called quantile. Again, let's be faster. So we'll do quantile. Show you what that does, and then I'll rename it. Now see, that gives you the 5-number summary in its percentile form. So instead of saying Q1, the median, Q3, and the maximum, it's giving you the percent below that. So 5-number summary in percent form. So if you remember with the 5-number summary, because of what it's doing, the first quartile has 25% of the data below it. So that actually means that it's the 25th percentile. The third quartile has 3/4 below it, so 75%, so it's the 75th percentile. So this is the same thing. It's just doing it in its percentile format or percent format. You can also do, oops, wrong window, standard deviation. Again, let's be faster. Come on, Becky. Standard deviation. And you can do that with the SD. Let's see. Any other ones that I want to show you? So those are the numeric summaries. In the next video, we will do some of the graphical displays for one quantitative variable. But this is what you can do with base R. And this is how you can get those values to show up for you and not have to calculate them by hand. See you in the next video.